In a vast, burning desert, there lived a small sparrow named Leela. Her life was a constant struggle. Weak and sick, her feathers had fallen out, leaving her unable to fly. She had no home, no food, and no water. All she knew was the scorching heat, the suffocating loneliness, and an endless battle for survival. Every breath was a painful effort, and every sunrise brought another day of misery. One day, as she lay weak and helpless under the merciless sun, she saw a white dove flying gracefully across the fiery sky. With a voice that was barely a whisper, she called out, "Brother Dove, please stop." The dove landed gently beside her, his pure white feathers a stark contrast to the scorched earth. "Sister," he asked softly, "why do you look so heartbroken?" Lila, her tiny body trembling, whispered, "Where are you going?" "I'm flying to heaven," the dove replied, "to deliver prayers to God." Hearing this, a flicker of hope ignited in Lila's eyes. It was a feeling she hadn't known for a very long time. She folded her bare wings in a gesture of prayer and pleaded, "Please, when you speak to God, ask Him about me. Ask Him when my pain will finally end. When will these dark days turn into light?" The dove looked at her with deep compassion, nodded gently, and promised, "I will ask Him." With that, he soared back into the sky, leaving Leela with a fragile glimmer of hope. When the dove reached the magnificent gates of heaven, he was greeted by a radiant angel. He shared the story of the suffering sparrow in the desert and conveyed her desperate question. The angel listened patiently, her expression full of empathy. She consulted the book of fate and returned with a somber message. "God has written 10 more years of sorrow for her," the angel said. "Only after those 10 years have passed will she find peace." The dove's heart sank. 10 more years, he said, his voice filled with sadness. "If I tell her this, she will lose all hope, and her spirit will break completely." He looked at the angel, desperate for a solution. "Isn't there any way to help her?" "Any way to ease her burden." The angel smiled gently, a kind and knowing smile. "There is one way," she said. "Tell her to say this in every situation, no matter how good or bad. Thank you, God, for everything." This is her real test. The dove returned to the desert and found Lila waiting anxiously. He shared the angel's message. At first, Leela was utterly confused. How could she thank God while suffering so intensely? Thank Him for the burning sun, for the hunger gnawing at her belly, for the pain that racked her tiny body. It seemed impossible, even cruel. But then, a thought settled in her heart. "If this is my test," she resolved, "then I will face it. I have nothing left to lose." And so, her new journey began. When she stumbled and fell on the scorching hot sand, instead of crying out in pain, she whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." When her thirst became unbearable and she couldn't find a single drop of water, she closed her eyes and repeated the words, "Thank you, God, for everything." When her last few feathers fell out, leaving her completely exposed to the elements, she still found the strength to say, "Thank you, God, for everything." She made it her constant prayer, her only response to the endless hardship. Days turned into weeks, and as Lila persisted in her gratitude, something miraculous began to happen. Tiny, new feathers started to sprout on her bare skin, not the weak, dull feathers of her past, but feathers that were strong, vibrant, and beautiful. A surge of energy she hadn't felt in years began to flow through her body. Then one day, a sight she had almost forgotten appeared in the sky. Dark clouds gathered above the desert. The wind began to blow, carrying the scent of moisture. Thunder roared, and for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, rain poured down from the heavens. The desert drank greedily, and the dry, cracked earth came alive with fresh green sprouts and colorful flowers. A small, clear pond formed right beside where she stood. Lila stretched her new wings, lifted her face to the sky, and with tears of pure joy streaming down her face, she cried out, "Thank you, God, for everything." She flapped her wings, and with a powerful thrust, she soared into the air. She was flying again. She was free. A few days later, the white dove returned, expecting to find the little sparrow still struggling. He was stunned. The desolate wasteland was now a lush oasis, and flying joyfully amidst the flowers was Leela, looking stronger and more beautiful than ever. How is this possible? The dove wondered. The angel clearly said 10 more years of sorrow. Bewildered and amazed, he flew straight back to heaven. Finding the angel at the gates, he asked, "What happened? You said her suffering would last 10 years, but her entire life was transformed in just a matter of days." The angel smiled, that same gentle, knowing smile. "Yes," she confirmed. 10 years were written in her fate, but gratitude holds the power to rewrite destiny. When a soul truly says thank you, God, for everything, especially in times of hardship, they burn away their past sorrows and transform their future. Her test is over. Her heart has passed. Oh, many of us, when faced with problems, immediately start complaining. We ask, why me? What did I do to deserve this? We forget that gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to peace and miracles. Complaining makes our burdens heavier, chaining us to our misery. Gratitude makes life lighter, allowing us to soar above our challenges. So, from today, let's make a promise to ourselves. Whatever happens, good or bad, let's find the strength to say, thank you, God, for everything. Because sometimes, one simple, heartfelt act of gratitude can change your entire destiny. If this story touched your heart, please show your support by liking and sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories that bring hope and light into our lives. Thank you for watching, and as Leela taught us, thank you, God, for everything.